Fox 10 News will be bringing you team coverage for D-Day's 75th anniversary. For a closer look at the historical significance of this particular battle, Tyler Fingert is joining us live from the National World War II Museum, formerly known as the National D-Day Museum, and that's in New Orleans. Tyler.
Hey, Lenice, good evening to you. We're here in the main building where they are. They've been doing a lot of stuff throughout the day, a lot of events to commemorate this 75th anniversary, because they wanted to make sure that those who fought in this war, who are coming here to basically be here for the commemoration, they wanted to make sure that people got to hear from them, and because this may be the last one, that last big anniversary that they're able to hear from those people. And I want to bring in one of the curators here at the museum, James Lynn. What is so historically significant about D-Day that happened 75 years ago today?
Well, D-Day was June 6, 1944 is kind of the beginning of the end of Hitler's Europe. I mean, prior to that, the Allies get thrown out of France in 1940, and everybody always knew we had to go back. And there was a lot that went into that, a lot of men, a lot of material being brought from the United States to the United Kingdom. But June 6, 1944 is the beginning of the end for Hitler, and it's a very pivotal moment, not just in 1944 during the war, but in the 20th century as well.
And it eventually helped lead to the ending of the war. And one of the things, the reason why you guys are here in New Orleans, this museum, is the Higgins boat. It was a lot of them, about 20,000 or so, were built here. What's the significance of New Orleans and the Higgins boat that was used on D-Day?
Well, the Higgins industry story, Andrew Higgins was their founder and owner during the war. And Higgins Industries, by the end of the war, was over 7 plants, and like you said, produced over 20,000 boats. You could say it was a conveyor belt of getting the material that was needed for D-Day, started here in New Orleans, brought across, and it was unloaded on the beaches of Normandy on June 6, 1944.
You guys have about 100 or so World War II and D-Day veterans here today, maybe a little bit more than that. But the one thing you guys have been focusing on is trying to pay tribute to these men who fought overseas 75 years ago. Why is that so important for you guys here at the museum during this commemoration?
Because it's important that story is never forgotten. Like you said, that generation isn't going to be with us forever, unfortunately. And these boats, their legacy, these artifacts, the oral histories that we have in our collection, the outreach, the education programs that we have, are going to be how people learn from this and don't ever forget it moving forward. So it's very important that we have them here, not just today, but also have their stories to tell to future generations.
Well, James, I really appreciate it. And coming up at 5 o'clock, we are going to take a look at some of the events that they've held today, and also you'll get to hear from some of the D-Day and World War II veterans who are here and get to hear some of their stories. We'll have that for you when we see you, Lenice, in just about an hour. For now, live in New Orleans at the National World War II Museum, Tyler Fingert, Fox 10 News.